Hello, hello, everybody. I just want to pop in real quick and do this week's live. I am in, I was in classes all last week and I'm in classes all this week. And that's really kind of the topic. So if you've read the blog, if you are on my email list, you got the email about my avatar. Who's your avatar? So as I mentioned, I am super excited for Christmas. I already know what I want. And what I want is to go to the new Jumanji movie that's coming out at Christmas. And it's really funny because I did not really like the original Jumanji movie that came out in the 90s. I had the book and it was so different from the book. And I just didn't, I don't know, it just wasn't my favorite movie. And I didn't think I would like the new ones, but my kids wanted to see the Welcome to the Jungle when it came out. And so we went to see it. And I loved it and I got kind of obsessed with it. And then the next level came out and I loved that one. And I watch them like that's my comfort thing. Like if I've had a bad day, I like to like get a glass of wine and turn on Jumanji and just relax and watch Jumanji. And I think the reason it appeals to me so much, I mean, it's a good movie, it's a good action movie. And I don't want to give too much away, but in case you haven't seen it. If you haven't seen it, go watch it. You should definitely watch it. Um, it's just because of what you can learn from that movie about who you're being in your life. Like, what character are you embodying? And ever since that movie came out, I've asked myself at the beginning of every year, who is my avatar this year? So in the new movies, instead of it being a board game, it's a video game. And the the characters get stuck in this video game and they're in the bodies of the avatars that they chose. And some of the avatars have a whole lot of strengths, and some of them have a whole lot of weaknesses and not really many strengths. Like they might have one or two strengths. And it's really hard for some of the characters to come to terms with their weaknesses. And it's also really hard for all of the characters to work together. But they have to work together. They're not going to get out of the game unless they can work as a team. And there's actually a character that's been stuck in the game for 20 years because he was trying to do everything himself and he couldn't get out. He couldn't do it all by himself because he didn't have all of the strengths that they have combined. And then the characters are talking about in the real world being these avatars in the real world, being this way all the time. And I think that's a really good analogy because you hear coaches all the time who say things like, um, you have to just decide who you're going to be. You have to act like the person, have you ever heard this with manifestation? You have to act like the version of you that already has it. Well, that's hard. It's hard to imagine that. It's hard to think that way unless you're thinking of it like an avatar you can step into. You can step into this person who has the strengths that you need to complete whatever it is that you're doing. And I saw this, I was speaking with a student of mine yesterday, and this idea kind of came up. And she was saying, she is not making the money that she really would like to make. And she's considering a few different options because, in her case, again, she's trying to do everything herself. And this is a spot that I was in a few years ago where I was trying to do everything on my own. And everything for free too. So like I had the free MailChimp for my emails, my newsletter, and I had a free website and I had free funnel software. But the free versions of all these things are really, really limited, and it caps the level that you can get to. So you get to the point where if you're going to reach that next level, if you're going to level up, just like in a video game, when you have to use like maybe your tokens and things to pay for tools so you can get to the next level, that's really what you have to do in life. Like sometimes in business, you have to recognize that if you want to progress, you've got to be thinking in a different way. So, one of the classes I'm in this week is Russell Brunson's new class, and Russell gets so much money out of me. Um, he got me again because he has this new software that's just incredible. I have been for quite a while recognizing that I am not going to be able to level up unless I do something to help my productivity. And I was at this point years ago too. So now I'm getting like now I'm reaching the next level. So, when I had the free MailChimp newsletter, email service provider, for example, you could only have, I think, 200 subscribers. And then you also couldn't schedule um, automated sequences. So every time somebody would sign up for my newsletter, I had like a template. You can create a template. So I had this template email that I sent out, but I had to go and send it manually, which of course took forever. And same with the funnel software that was free. You only got three funnels. And so every time I needed a different funnel, I would have to pick one of my funnels and take it down and redo it. And I ended up going to Flowdesk for email and ClickFunnels 2.0 for my, which is an all-in-one. So I can actually do email through that too, but I prefer Flowdesk email. But I can have unlimited funnels. I just needed, I wasn't going to get where I needed to go if I was limited by these platforms. And now I'm kind of at the same place where if I'm going to level up again, I've got to either hire somebody and train them and or I need to get a system in place that some of this can be done with AI. And Russell has a new platform called AI Marketing Secrets, and you can create essentially AI employees. So for the cost that this software is, which the lowest level is 97 a month and the higher level is 297 a month, you actually can have an employee. And I want to say that I did try to hire humans first. I tried to get my kids to do what I need is like somebody to reply to emails, somebody to reach out to potential collaborators like summit speakers and things, somebody to create my social media and Pinterest graphics and post them, like get them scheduled so that they auto post. And I offered to pay them and I offered to, train them how to do this, and neither one of them wanted to do it. So there we are. So I decided, okay, I'm going to create an AI to do this. And Russell has this new software. But at the same time, I already earlier this year, or last year, you might remember that I paid more than I've ever paid in my life for coaching with Christina Jandali. And I just renewed with her. So I have that expense too. And it's hard, my doll business is still funding my coaching business. And so all of this money has to come from the doll business that I don't have as much time to spend in because I'm doing this business coaching. And now I have some, besides trying to get new clients, I have some clients now that I have an obligation to them, to be coaching them. So that's taking extra time away from the doll business. And so I really struggled with, should I add another thing, another expense? Do I really, really want to do that? And what I thought was if my avatar this year is the CEO, Amanda, what would she do? Well, obviously, she would spend the money in order to get up to that next level because at the next level, your income's going to increase. And this is what I was telling my client yesterday because she also is in the same spot where she is looking at a free all in one and then comparing it to ClickFunnels and the 2.0 that's the all in one. And she was saying, I'm not making the money I want to make. Should I be spending this money? And I had to say, try if it's free, try it, see if it's any good. But it's probably going to be limiting. You're probably not going to be able to do all the things you really need to do to get to that next level. And you have to think about if you have this next level of software, what are you going to be able to accomplish with it? So much more than you're going to be able to accomplish doing everything yourself. Like right now, she's manually building her funnels. She's manually building emails and email sequences. And she's also hosting summits like I am. And during her last summit, her email crashed and her website crashed because it just couldn't handle um, the level of tech that she needed. And so I think that the free next one is probably going to be the same thing. Like I am all about doing as much as you can without spending money when you're starting a business because bootstrapping, you don't want to go into a bunch of debt. However, you do get to a point where if you want to make more money, you're going to have to spend a little bit more money. It's just the reality because there's only so much that one person can do. Now, in the case of my client, another thing she could do is hire a person. She could hire somebody to be, building the funnels for her, to build her a new website. Um, but you get to that point where you're being limited. Like, who are you stepping into your goals as? Are you stepping into your goals as the person who isn't there yet, or are you stepping into your goals as the person who's already there? Because if you step into your goals as the person who's already there, it's so much more likely that you're going to achieve those goals. And this applies to coaching. And I wrote about this in the blog. You know, you're probably not going to get there on your own. So years ago now, this was like 2022, I think. So the pandemic had just ended, all the lockdowns had just ended. And that summer, we were gone the whole summer. Like we went to a wedding, we went to a family reunion, we went to the beach for a week, we went up to the mountains for a week. And I was gone all summer. And so I was not home to ship orders and things, and my stores were closed, and I didn't make any money, made no money, like for the majority of that summer. And it was really obvious that as our lives have changed, my business needs to change. So I built a low ticket, high volume product based business, and then my doll repair service business, my doll hospital. And all of that's very hands on. I have to be home to receive dolls from people, that they ship to me. I have to be home to ship orders. And I wasn't that summer. And so my income was capped. I didn't make any money. And it was clear that as my kids are getting older and we're traveling more and they're getting out of the house, like now we have only one child left at home, we travel a lot more and it's just not working, this old model. I can't not, uh, I can't be home all the time. And the way that I was when my kids were little, that was fine then, but now our lives are different. And so it was clear that I needed to transition to a digitally based business. And I also knew that I had already started in business coaching with some students, and they were having good results. And I was having people ask for business coaching. And so that was something else that I wanted to add. And so I tried. I spent thousands and thousands of dollars on courses. I watched all of the free like webinars and everything. I had all kinds of YouTube things, videos saved. I have like a whole Google Drive that is almost out of space, it's like 80% full of people's freebies. And I just wasn't getting anywhere. And I couldn't really understand why, because the system I teach, my simple sales ecosystem, works. It has worked for all of the different types of businesses I've been in over the years, and I've been successful with it. And it wasn't working for this, and I couldn't understand why. And this is why I finally decided I have to get an actual coach to talk to one-on-one to get her eyes on my work. And she can see things that I can't see. You know, when you're inside your own head, your vision is limited. You can't see the things that somebody outside can see very clearly. You know, it's very often that I look at somebody's Etsy store and I can see immediately why they're not getting sales, but they've been trying and trying and trying and they can't see it. And this is just, it's the benefit of getting coaching. It's the benefit of having someone outside of yourself to look at what you're doing. In my case, I had built essentially a faceless business. So I had a blog, but I was never myself. Like I never showed my face or anything on social media. I never showed my face in any videos. And what Christina helped me see is that when you are coaching, it's different. It's sort of like being, you know, a realtor or something. Like people need to see you more. They need to see you to be able to trust you. And another thing was getting authority, like borrowed authority in this field. So I have a lot of authority in the doll repair world because I'm very well known there. However, in the business coaching world, I was not well known. And I should have been because I've accomplished a lot. I'm a top 4% Etsy seller. I'm a top eBay seller. Um, one of my books was a number one new release on Amazon. Like I have a lot of things, but nobody knew about me. And so Christina helped me see that hosting the summit was a great way to get that authority and transition. And that was how I was able to build my coaching business and get, you know, much higher paying clients, much higher ticket offers. And I'm just saying this because I think that that's the best idea that you get from the Jumanji movies is you're not going to get there by yourself. You're not going to get there by yourself, and you're also not going to get there if you aren't working as as the right avatar. It's really important to put yourself in that mindset when you're making decisions about your business and really anything in life. This could apply to like a fitness journey, a health journey. This could apply to relationships. You know, who are you being on a daily basis? And is the person you're embodying the right avatar that's going to actually help you get to your goals? So you want to choose the avatar that's going to help you get the result you want. And so your avatar is just the person that has that result. And then you meditate on that and think about what would this person do in this situation? What decision would this person make? You know, if then Amanda um, is considering staying up late and watching Agatha Christie movies and drinking a whole bunch of wine and eating chips or cheese and crackers, is you know, is that going to make her thin? No, like then Amanda would not do that because she knows that that's not going to get her to her goal. And so that's where you have to be coming in it from. And one of the things that I do every year is I have a secret Pinterest board that's just called Avatar. And I just pin in all of the things that I want for that year and all like what would my avatar have? What would my avatar wear? How would she look? What would her, you know, what's her daily life like? And I just pin all of those things in that board and I go and I look at it on a very regular basis. You could also do this with a traditional vision board. Like you could get a cork board and cut out pictures from magazines and put up there. Just something to help you visualize who this person is and get into their head and make decisions as that person. And so, you know, when I was worrying about should I get this new software, I thought, and should I renew with my coach? The regular everyday me is saying, no, 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 you have to make more money before you can invest. You have to, you know, you can't invest more until you make more. The CEO me is saying, how will you make more if you don't invest more? Sorry. You know, how? If you're a person who's always waiting to have more money in order to do the things that you need to do to, to achieve your goals, you really have to ask yourself, where's that money going to come from? When are you going to get it? And how are you going to get it? Is it just going to appear, or are you going to do the things to make it possible to get the money? And I don't want to hear that you can't get the money. Like, that's one of the things that really bothers me because when I started, I had no money. I had no money at all. I started my business to make money. My husband had just been disabled in a work accident. He was home on disability. We were losing $600 a month. Plus, I needed to go on maternity leave and I didn't get paid maternity leave. And so I did the things to make the money to invest more. And all of the money I made beyond, replacing our salaries went back into the business and I reinvested it. And I have a resource. If money is the thing that's holding you back from whatever goal, your business goal, your health goal, whatever it is, I have a resource. It's called 100 Ways to Make Your First $500 Online. And it goes through 100 ways. If you did every single one of those ways and made $500, you'd have $50,000. I mean, so I'll put that in the chat for you. Um, that's a free resource, but it is possible. And I think that the main thing though is the mindset. When you get the mindset in place, then you start to see the things that are going to help you make money. And it's interesting in this training that Russell's doing. There are all these people in the chat who are like, well, you're just trying to sell your software and but he's teaching great gems. Like if you want to learn how to sell, you need to follow Russell Brunson. And if you're picking up, even if you don't buy the software, like if you're just picking up what he's teaching in that class, you're going to make so much money. And there are people in the chat, complaining, but then there are other people who are like, hey, I already made money with what we learned yesterday. Like when I went home and did it and I made money already using this. And that's somebody that's coming at it with the right avatar, with the successful avatar. So that's just what I wanted to talk about today because it's something that has come up a lot recently with me, with my students, with potential clients, just in the past couple weeks, and I wanted to address it. Get that avatar in place and see when you are working as that avatar, like when you're coming at things in that identity, what changes for you. And I would love to hear about what changes for you. I would love for you to put in the comments, like do this for a week or two and then tell me what happened. What things moved, what things shifted in your life. And I'm also going to put my course, the Signature Sales Blueprint in. That's where I help you get sales. And it will work for any industry. Most of my people are Etsy sellers, but you do not have to have an Etsy shop. It will work for any kind of online business. And I'll also put in the chat the Russell's marketing secrets because it's amazing. If you're at a place where you need to streamline things in AI, you want things to be done automatically, you want automations, this thing's insane. I mean, it's already scanning my email and giving me like lists of tasks. It scans my socials, like my DMs and things, gives me lists of like, here's a lead, here's someone I need to respond to, gives me a daily list. It has my calendar in there so it can see what what conflicts might be arising, where I have openings. I can put my Calendly in so it knows my schedule for sales calls and coaching calls. And it also has just on its own reviewed my funnel for my offer and has redesigned it and given me a whole new funnel idea for that, and just wrote it all up. Like I didn't have to ask for that. It did that on its own. It did an email sequence for it on its own. Like it's crazy. It's like having, you know, a VA who never needs to sleep and who's really, really good, who knows their stuff. So I'll put that in the chat. That is an affiliate link. So if you join if you get this software using my link, I will get a payment. However, if you join, then you also will have an affiliate link, or you'll be offered the opportunity to have an affiliate link, and you can use your affiliate link to sell it to other people. Um, but it's amazing, and I don't ever do affiliates for things I don't already use, things I don't buy, things I don't use. People like if it's a lawyer or something, that's somebody that I use, it's somebody that I purchase from. I don't ever do affiliates for companies I don't believe in. So just so you know, that's an affiliate link. But I'd love to hear more about your avatar. I'd like to hear what avatar are you setting up, and after you've embodied this avatar for a little while, I'd like to know what's shifting in your life. Just love to hear back from you. So let me know in the comments, and I hope you have a great day. Bye.